Hey everybody, it's 9 o'clock and 9 o'clock is with me, Father Warner. We are in Friday of the fourth week in Easter. Our text today is taken from John chapter 14, verse 1 to 6. But in case you'd like also to read about the first reading from Acts chapter 13, verse 26 to 33, I recommend you go to the description box of this video, and there you can click on either the text version or the video version of Acts chapter 13, verse 26 to 33. But for today, we are in John chapter 14, verse 1 to 6, and I've entitled the teaching, The Fate of Their Faith. So let's read the text first. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house there are many dwelling places. If it were not so, I would have told you that I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and will take you to myself, so that where I am, there you may be also. And you know the way to the place where I am going. Thomas said to him, Lord, we do not know where you are going. How can we know the way? Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father except through me. If you know me, you will know my Father also. From now on, you do know him and have seen him. The Gospel of the Lord. So, my dear friends, Jesus has spoken of betrayal and death. We saw this in chapter 13, verses 21 to 30. He himself, we know, in chapter 13, has spoken of being troubled in spirit. Judas, even now in chapter 13 and 14, is in the midst of betrayal. We know this very clearly in verse 13, in chapter 13, verse 30. So after receiving the piece of bread, Judas immediately went out, and it was night. Now, the disciples can imagine, therefore, danger lurking in the shadows, not only for Jesus, but remember, also for themselves. Jesus also knows that Peter will fail him, and at once we need to understand that it does not shock Jesus that either Peter would fail him, or for that matter that we would fail the Lord. It doesn't shock Jesus. Human as we are, we want to die for the Lord, but often we can't live through a day for him. And yes, we fail the Lord. Is the Lord disappointed? He is. But that does not mean he denies us. We may deny the Lord. He doesn't. He is always faithful. Now, obviously, in chapter 14, the mood in the room has changed. Twice already Peter has been mildly chastised, but chastised all the same. He did not want, you'll remember, Jesus to wash his feet, and Jesus says, then you can have no part with me. And now again, when he is told he will deny the Lord, that was like a slap on the wrist, saying, no, you will. You'll do it not once, Peter. You will end up doing it 3 times. So the room must have been filled with despair. Now, think about it. If the de facto leader of the apostles, who would be our first pope, if he was to fail the Lord, then what would be the fate of the faith of the other apostles? Now, Jesus steps in, as he always does, to comfort the troubled hearts of the apostles and to comfort us. And I must tell you, these words are just beautiful. Chapter 14, verse 1. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Believe in God. Believe, says Jesus, also in me. Now, it is very easy for our hearts to be troubled. We would like to live each day with a song on our lips, but life always has a way of throwing us some lemons. Now, people will say, think positive. Thinking positively and making lemon juice with the limes thrown at us by life is a choice we could make, but that is certainly not enough. Just positive thinking is not enough. You see, we have to train our hearts towards trusting in God. And that's the greater challenge. And this is why Jesus gently admonishes the 11. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Now, Jesus calls the disciples to believe, not because of the situation, but in spite of the situation, to be assured of things hoped for, to be convicted of things not seen. Jesus does not say there won't be troubles. He simply says, when that happens, do not trouble your heart, for you need to trust. That trust must be placed in God and must be placed in Jesus. Now, interestingly, Jesus assures the apostles of a place in his Father's house. And I say interestingly because even though we know that the apostles failed Jesus, and he knew at the Last Supper that they would have failings, he still assured them of a dwelling place. This is a dwelling place filled with grace for those who loved him but yet had failings. This is not just any dwelling place, it is the dwelling place of the Holy Trinity. There is no scarcity of space in this dwelling place, for we are assured, Jesus says that very clearly, that there are many rooms, many dwelling places for all, and they have all been prepared for us by the Lord himself. Think of, having being invited, since we are in the week of the coronation of Charles III. Think of being invited to Buckingham Palace, and Charles III tells you, guess what? I prepared the room for you myself. I mean, just being in Buckingham Palace would be a great honor. Having the King of England prepare a room for you would just gobsmack you. And here is Jesus saying, I have many rooms in my Father's house, and guess what? I have prepared those rooms myself for you. That is the immense love that God has for us, and that love should be seen in that text when we read it. Now, coming to our text, we know that Thomas is bewildered by all this conversation of this dwelling place. This very logical thinking man, St. Thomas, who has sadly been burdened by the title doubting, is actually seeking clarity. Perhaps while all the rest chose not to ask the obvious question, Thomas could not control himself. Very plainly said, we do not know where you are going, so how will we know the way? So here is not doubting Thomas, here is honest Thomas for you. Yeah, don't call him doubting Thomas, he is honest Thomas. Now, think about it. It is the questioning and the seeking Thomas whose question prompts Jesus to pronounce one of the most widely quoted words of salvation. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. No one. And while a lot of people of other faiths are offended, this is our faith. Jesus is the only way, he's the only truth, he's the only light. And you cannot have this, what I call kumbaya of faith beliefs, which many Catholics have. The worship of an acceptance of many gods and any gods. It doesn't work. I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. If you believe in something else, then you do not believe in Jesus. And Jesus cannot be a liar. He's the only way, he's the only truth, he's the only life. I'm respectful of other religions, but I do not accept anybody else to be the way, the truth, and the life. And that is the plain and simple truth of it all. Now, notice that Jesus didn't say that he would show us the way. What did he say? He said he is the way. Think about it. If we ask for directions and someone tells us to turn left here and turn right there, I think we'd likely get lost. However, if the person leads us to the destination, somebody says, okay, I'll get into your car and I'll accompany you till the end, then you are assured of getting there. That person becomes for you and me the way. Jesus does not simply point us to the Father, but is himself the pathway. I am the way. Second, Jesus said, I am the truth. Jesus didn't promise to teach us a truth. He said that he is the truth that sets us free in John chapter 8 verse 32. Jesus is the truth in the flesh and will leave us in the hands of the Spirit of truth, talking about the Holy Spirit. He'll say this in chapter 14, in chapter 15, in chapter 16, verse 13. Jesus, therefore, is the opposite of the devil, about whom Jesus himself in John chapter 8, verse 44 says, there is no truth in him, in the devil. So, therefore, Jesus is the opposite. He is the truth. The devil is the liar. He is the deceiver. His name means deceiver. Jesus is not the deceiver. Finally, Jesus didn't offer us the secrets of life. He said that He is the life. For the Jewish people, the Torah was the book of life. It instructed people in life-giving faith and practice. And now Jesus becomes the life giver. He says, I came that you may have life and have it in abundance. John 10:10. So, Jesus' solution to perplexity is not a recipe. Let me say this again. Jesus' solution to perplexity is not a recipe. It is an invitation to a relationship with Him. His words to all of us are, abide in me. Today I want to wish my friends Eldridge and Val a very, very happy birthday. As I often say, we are a group of 8 of us, very close to each other. Lenny and Nadia, Eldridge and Val, Michelle and Denzel, Glenn and myself. And we really care for each other, we love each other, love our children, and we've been one group for the longest time. I want to wish Eldridge and Val, who live an exemplary Christian life as a Christian couple, not only caring for their own family and bringing up their children in the faith, with all the struggles that their sons throw at them in terms of questioning the faith, they will be patient, they will bring them up in the faith, pray with them, instruct them in the faith, and live their Christian life, especially their kindness and their charity to those in need. So, happy anniversary, Val and Eldridge. God bless you, God preserve you, and God keep you. I look forward to one day being there for your silver wedding anniversary. And to all of you, thank you for your contribution towards our home in Nuvei in Goa. Thank you from those of you who've been reaching out, wanting to help us purchase the girls' home, which, as I've been saying, is down the road from where we are already. We need your help. I want to make this a special appeal so that we can gather the funds as quickly and purchase this place. Thank you for those who have already done it. I want to encourage the others, please be generous. I must be the first time I'm actually pushing for your generosity, but please be generous. Whatever the amount is, it will help us tremendously to buy this home quickly, and then of course we have to renovate it and then get the new girls in. Also for those who in their own little way contribute to breakfast, lunch or dinner to the children's home. As you know that I will be moving to Goa from the 1st of June and I'll be on sabbatical. I don't know how long. I presume it will be 2 years, maybe 1 year, it all depends. The Cardinal has given it to me in writing for 2 years, but I think he's having second thoughts, but I hope he keeps to his word. I need it for my own health, and we'll see where that goes. I will continue to teach. For those of you who from the 1st of June would like to offer a Mass, I'm willing to accept Mass offerings. So you have my number 98202 42151. Get in touch with me. Yeah, put your Mass dates, because I am bound to say that Mass in private for your intention. So send me a message saying you'd like to offer a Mass, and then I'll discuss it with you. Okay, everybody, I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is the end of the week, and we'll continue with John chapter 14, verse 8 onwards. Bye, everybody.